Good evening, and today I'm going to read first oral transmissions a bit, and then maybe we can talk about bodhicitta part.
大家晚上好。那首先一开始呢，仁波切说他要先传一些口传哈，然后口传完之后呢，可能就是讲一些这个菩提心的部分。
So I read this up to chapter 5, next chapter, verse number 5. So I'll start to read number 6. Semjen daba zunjun daba jibata lama daba yanda tani shaya bara jayanda tani shaya bara jayanda tani shaya bara jayanda cheden tamchung jana medu dubi ngabata jinjara be jaba jaya kuisan jaba le sun jaba nama duyinda jaya jinyi wa tadaba medaba zinju kunjara de bimina sangla rabzu ne daba jaya jina tangpa jambra lensi teni zinju dala chambe jana ngonja nga susu la jeso la susu la jeso la jimbo su je dunga wen roma la de dunga jine dunga wa dunga du ju zelen ro taba taba ye taba taba jaba zinju la jaba jaya jima sanda jibsi yin kaimba teni dongpo gaba yin dole chambe rado je de yin dola bala nima lama la yin da tabe zinju yin tani wa naba shiba jela dala teni ju de yang de zinju jebar ja pejin yin do len di yi se nam ra jan ba ta kante si je sum tan do Dagyab Rinpoche says no Gaden Shartse Dro-Phen Ling teni de lo jo de kange cheme changye je san je me kange rinje dagye gunga de je go be kange tamja je ne de ne jo de je wa ta so me jo ji me so ne jenyi me se je ne je be ba ma bu ko be ja yin di je de ne je wa xin da de de ji xi be la ba yo so je se de de ma da ge da ma ba ba jo ma ye ze be ba ma ba be de be de je be be de ne ba so de de da de da se de ba go yin me so da de de ji ba la so je be ne jo yin de gan da da do je san ju sen be sa da ge zu ren le wo so jo ge zin ni yang yang de me la Lama san de la da be jo ga la ge la kan ji da ni gan ji da ne da ma mo jo ni je de la so ji so de be de ge de mo ni de ji de 人员说呢，这类行动呢，把人小孩子就是，这两个人像别介啊，或者这边其他是都叫像别是东西，你觉得基本上这现在那是这个的情况，这边上就生命结晶的话，他就真的当个来这来这边那些这边的年，那些这边是的，今年当他的真的是真就，大家不得没讲，大家不得没讲，我大家不得没讲，怎么这些地方的我要是都那个生气了，人家就是。 想学到完美主义，升学就那基本门槛呢，把它接，前面人民为现在那么状态，明年中就到学的那么的，都是那么的，大概那个他就是多的，一直的，大家在每个人那没叫我，上学上学另外些人那就别说你，升学当年当那么虽然老百姓了嘞，那么做那么说老百姓了，估计这个都那都真就什么都没。 当然，连白白这边都讲说起说你用手早办酒肉，现在没些人就说你要做酒肉，上去的我媳妇就其他的这边，家人那个朋友，第一个就到这上去的，这那边这我媳那边你什么都可以，这我媳妇到台湾了，我这就来叫我见，因为就是这不是就这做不得就在那边去，我觉得这不就来了没呢？现在嘛，这帮没百姓，我现在我们就在那这就现在这不像那不是现在让他们家白白热在白在，根本就是老早都这帮不就这做了了。 送别人了，那那没把干要说起来，人家给了下不是那是进度是，我觉得都在下不是这边是，我这边三门就这边三门就这边三门就这三门就，但是你们现在这边不是现在跑着钱了，就到这这个到现在到这样子，到这开始消息吧，但是你个帮忙的现在到这个他关键这那不就是说他那那写入这样，那要做这些不是就了。 파르젠 라서 개외 전에서 자와는 저 타수시 자와는 저 타수시 타고만 게다니지 가시 셔러 나고 버튼 진주도 다음에 지고 검에 포고지나 다음에 지고 검에 pombo검다 진제 so up to 64 I read this and from there onward let's say for tomorrow this more or less dealing with emptiness. So now, from now onward, from the from the verse number 5 up to verse number 46. This is connected with bodhicitta. And Great Master Atisha explained different way, explained the bodhicitta different aspects, various aspects.
那就是从第5颂开始到第46颂呢，就是属于这个菩提心的部分哈。然后阿底峡尊者呢，他就是用不同的这个层面、不同的观点呢，来诠释这个菩提心。
If I may give you very some kind of summary. First, he explained about making offerings, and then he talked about taking refugees, and then he talked about love and kindness toward sentient beings, and proper understanding of sufferings of the sentient beings. Because of this understanding, because of the understanding of suffering by the of the sentient beings, you need to convince them, generate the bodhicitta. And then he is explained about the way to receive bodhicitta vows. There are 2 kinds of bodhicitta, which is wishing bodhicitta and active bodhicitta, right? So in order to receive the vow of active bodhicitta, and practice bodhisattva deeds in order to increase your merit. How you receive bodhicitta vows from the so to say from the meditation, a meditative object, instead of from your own guru. If you didn't find Lama in person, you are allowed to receive from the Buddha in your imagination or Buddha statue. And it is how it is important to avoid, not to avoid, but reject all the concepts of defilements toward all sentient beings. And you need to keep away from all negative thoughts, negative actions. And how important both accumulation of merit and accumulation of wisdom. And regarding generating the Shine practice, how it is important, Shine, in order to further practice of of wisdom or emptiness, how it is important to combine with method and wisdoms. All these subjects deal up to the verse number 46. These are the subject. So from this various subject, I'll try to pick up those which is very useful for our daily practice or for our practice, and it's also correct according to our time. First, in verse number 6, he mentioned about Lama, just name, and then later, from time to time, he mentioned also the name of a Lama, but not necessarily about Lama. Guru devotion, in the sense of Guru devotion in details. But I think I mentioned already earlier that I can find some more details in his own commentary to this root text. Guru devotion is one of the most important matter, and at the same time one of the most difficult subject. I don't think that we need discuss discuss in the details, but however, to have proper guru is very, very important, and to have a proper guru is to find a proper guru is extremely difficult, because what kind of a guru that you are searching, right? Whether you are searching a teacher for, let's say, just a simple sutra, or you are trying to find a teacher special for the bodhicitta, or special for emptiness, special for tantra as well. So therefore it is necessary to fulfill all, or better to say, qualified, to find a qualified teacher each of these subjects. If I explain quite simple way, if I'm looking for a master for my lamrim practice, then it's good enough to have a person who has really very good not only knowledge but in the practice about the lamrim. It's not necessary to have good knowledge about the tantra. But if I looking for tantra master, he or she must be very fit in tantra knowledge and very good in the practice as well. To find full qualified teacher is, as I mentioned, extremely difficult, and because one need to have all qualification each of these subjects. So, however, at least as I mentioned right now, those person who has very good knowledge about whatever you are going to listen need to possess, and main thing is he or she must be very good human beings, very good-hearted, compassionate. So that means one teacher who feels always tired to give teachings or to give some advice or dharma, to avoid to talk with people and to spend time. If these so-called master or teacher who has not much interest to spend much time, this is not a good teacher. So teacher must need to spend time, very good, compassionate, and great interest to support, and then of course, good knowledge. These are the minimum qualification. If a Lama who has great interest in finances, this is not good at all. If someone, he or she, put number one in order to receive many offerings and whatever, this is great dangerous. Therefore, His Holiness Dalai Lama advises us always, especially for non-Tibetans, those who are interested in Buddhism, one need to get to know proper way. So let them explain about Dharma, sitting as a round table discussion, not great respect or whatever. Just sit down together and let them explain about Dharma. And listen about him or her, whether he or she has good reputation or not that good reputation. This needs to be also considered. And after some years or some time, if you're really convinced that he or she really has capacity or capable to be able to become teacher for my practice, so then you can gradually start to receive from him or her real teaching and start to have a disciple and become a connection of a disciple and master, right? And not right from the beginning. If someone comes who has great entourage or great reputation from the whatever, very high Lama or very learned or whatever, it doesn't say anything. This is more or less a Buddhist culture or respect, perspective, right? And some very high Lama can give extremely good teachings, very suitable. But some very simple Lama who never be away from many people, but he or she is very fit in Dharma practice and can give a very nice teaching. This also wonderful, become a wonderful teacher. But only by name, only by seeing very attractive from the various perspective. This is not the reason, this is not qualification of the Dharma teacher. We as potential student need to check our potential master very thoroughly, and potential master need also to check the potential students. So this is the most important. However, we as very ordinary person, as far as from my experience, it is rather safer to regard those teachers as really very, very important person for me, instead of thinking that he or she is or should be or must be as a real Buddha. This is a rather difficult matter. We Asian, generally speaking, very much devoted to the elderly, to the teacher, to your own parents, and so on and so forth. This is absolutely admirable things. And as far as Dharma teacher is concerned, to put more respect and just try to think as Buddha. This is actually, it's not a business of beginner Buddhist. Teacher as this real Buddha, to see real Buddha. This is some kind of tantric way of thinking and deal with Tantra practice. But even in Tantra practice, one need to also be discussed. One need to discuss very in detail. Just simple example. My friend and myself, two of us have two different teachers. And I received teaching from Lama A, and my friend received from Lama B. I never received teaching from Lama B, and I have not intentioned. I have no intention to receive from him, from Lama B, right? In that case, my friend says, oh, my Lama B is real Buddha. And I say, oh, he or she is not Buddha. So I can't say, yes, he thinks that Lama B is Buddha, therefore Lama B must be always Buddha to everyone. It's not correct. It's not possible. If it's so, there are so many Dharma teachers. All Dharma teachers must be Buddhas. And so this is a bit beyond the way of thinking, perfect, right? He thinks Lama B is Buddha. All right, if he can manage to think that way, because it's a benefit for him. It's the main thing, the reason why we have to respect so much, because it helps me, because it helps us as a student. That's the only reason. It's not discuss about whether he or she is real Buddha or not. We're not make judgment, but because of necessity for my own practice. In fact, he is really not Buddha at all. There's no sign of a Buddha, no sign of reach even Bodhisattva. But if I see him or her as real Buddha, it helps me increase my devotion and whatever, right? So therefore, it's very useful. This is just method. If you follow your master's advice, so you will get into hell or whatever. All these descriptions are just how should I say? It's no more up to date. Maybe it was very useful to teach this way in one or 2,000 years ago. But now the times changed, and the realities are different. So therefore, we need to step according to the time, according to need. Only through the pressure and threatening, we can't achieve Buddhahood. And Buddha Shakyamuni himself always express that we need to test, we need to make judgment by ourselves. The Buddhism is, maybe I can say, the most freedom. We have such a great freedom. There's no pressure from our Buddha. So therefore, it is we need to be ready to accept this freedom. But occasionally, some of very orthodox people who really want to believe and could to believe that I may go hell, is most welcome to think about that, if it's helpful. In effect, the main thing, we need to have benefit for ourselves. This is the main thing. We Asians have tendencies that we start very fast, too fast, to believe toward our guru and to accept as a guru. It's too fast. For the European or Westerners, have other way around. Even though received many, many teachings, even Tantra empowerment, but still many of them don't think that he or she is my guru. Until after quite a lot of time to receive the teachings and initiation, they just occasionally thinking and asking, for example, to me, whether it's possible to become me as his or her teacher. So theoretically, it has been happened since many years, theoretically, but they don't think that we have disciple and teacher relationship. It's just like participate as from the university teacher or whatever, in the school or whatever, right? So they both have has difficulties. I know one monk who was passed away already, who was a member of a private monastery of Dalai Lama, and he told me he need to be more or less all the time be with Dalai Lama's religious ceremonies, right? Not only teaching, but other pujas as well. So he said, I don't regard Dalai Lama as my teacher. Although I said all the time in his teaching, but I regarded not his teacher, not his disciple. Because there's a great danger to make mistake by myself, because I'm so close to Dalai Lama, so therefore I can see his fault very easily. So in order to avoid this effect, so I'm not regarded him as my teacher, and I'm not his disciple. This is great. In our root text, verse number 7 and 8, they mentioned about offerings. So all in all, we can explain about 7 limbs. Am I right, Chenru? 7 limbs. 7 limbs. That's most common practice and most important practice. The 7 limbs are prostrations, making offerings, and confession, rejoice, asking for teaching, requesting for long life, and dedications. These are the 7 limbs. These 7 limbs are so far important because they are antidote of 7 different kinds of defilements. So number 1, prostrations against antidote of pride. Number 2, offerings against how do you say in English? Miserlessness? Miserlessness. Number 3, confession is against or antidote of 3 root poisons. And number 4, what was that? Rejoice, yes, rejoice of jealous. And number 5, ask for teaching is those bad deeds doing against of dharma practice. Number 6, requesting for long life is against that one involved in bad karma in the connection of teacher, so which you disrespect and so on to the teacher. And number 7, dedication is against for hatred. Atisha expressed of the good quality of making offerings. On top of that, he explained 7 kind of making offerings, but however we don't go further deeper. So all in all, that he is talking about, he is emphasized very much about accumulation of merit. There's one verse in order to receive bodhicitta. And in that verse says, first we need to take refuge, then confess, and then rejoice, and after that, only after that we are taking bodhicitta vows, right? So that means in order to generate bodhicitta, it is really, it is extremely necessary to have a suitable mind in your thought. For the timing, we have unequal thought. So that means our mind is very much involved with either attachment or hatred or some other defilements. So therefore, our way of approach to the sentient beings are very unequal. So on that base, there's no possibility to generate bodhicitta. So therefore, first we need to meditate on equanimity. In order to achieve the equanimity, we need to practice this, for example, this 7 kind of 7 limbs practice, because these are the antidote of different defilements. I would like to express at this time, making offering, generally speaking, we would understand that making offering to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and Sanghas and support monasteries or whatever, right? This is, of course, a wonderful thing. But at the same time, it's also same, how should I say, same qualities. Same quality. If we are supporting some medical projects and some projects which deal with very needed people, and old-age home, and support to the beggars, whatever. All these things are maybe, if I may say, I don't know whether it's correct or not, maybe it's sometimes more benefit than others. Let's say burning 1,000 lamps. This is fantastic. But maybe with this money, if you support a very needed person, it might be very useful, various aspects. However, at the end, it's up to your own, not only decision, but your own motivation, right? And we shouldn't accumulate bad deeds through the doing, make offerings. So that means one make great offerings, but at the same time one has very uncomfortable thoughts. So that will be this will not be good deeds, but it is sinful. Whatever we do, we should do according to our capacity. And we shouldn't force by ourselves or by others. This is most important, I think. I give an example by myself. If I visit, for instance, Mundgot or wherever, special Mundgot, those monasteries which I have a special contact or connections. Sometimes our precious monks are, how should I say, if I may say, they have some big mouth. And they're expecting it too big, too high. The one High Lama coming from the West. So they give us so much donations, serve us teas and bread and whatever, right? And this expectation is there. And if I would think, oh, I have a certain name, so therefore according to this position, I must serve them tea and pay every monk at least 100 rupees or whatever. And then maybe I need to serve them full lunch and breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And on top of that, I need some more money. So therefore, right from the beginning, I have no money in order to do these glamorous things, right? Although I'm coming from the West, but I was only university staff, which I can survive with my family. That's all. So therefore, I just thought, what should I do? I thought, whatever I do according to the dharma, not worldly dharma. So therefore, whatever they think, whatever they talk, let them think. So I go without hesitation, go there. If they serve me tea, lunch, invite lunch, all right, they can do. That's their decision. Right? That's their decision. Not because this very interesting lunch, very interesting, bring some fruits or tea or whatever. I don't attract them anymore. So let them bring. I'll get that. But I don't give them anything. If I feel sometimes I feel I can give this and that, then I'll do this. But not as compulsory. I never regard it as compulsory. So therefore, whenever I go to Mundgot, I feel very free. So now I think they're fed up with me and give up to help me anymore. So that's all right. So however, this offering has many aspects. And so whatever we are doing, we should do it proper way, clean way, right? And through this action, through this act, only through this act we can accumulate merit. Making offering towards the three jewels, towards for needed person or other sentient beings, we will be accumulated many merits. And then we will obtain really very reliable fundamental base in our mind, so we will be able to achieve bodhicitta more easier. From the verse number 10 and 11, these are very important part of the generated bodhicitta. So I only need to refer to teaching from yesterday and before, and through the various practice that we must have reliable understanding of the sufferings, especially suffering of pervasive condition in my mind, our own mind. Now we need to change the position so that instead of thinking about all sufferings to me, thinking about all sentient beings. All sentient beings, same as me, that they are suffering through the various kind of sufferings. So therefore we need, or I need to rescue them from the samsara. Because of that, or in order to do so, I must achieve the Buddhahood. For the time being, I have great interest to do so, but I don't have any abilities, because all obstacles are still to be moved. So therefore, first I must go further. I must generate more and more in the bodhicitta aspect, and later, of course, emptiness, and then through this path, only through this two combination of bodhicitta and emptiness, I'll be able to reach the Buddhahood. In order to focusing of the suffering of sentient beings, we need to practice lojong. And we will talk about lojong later. So therefore we can go further from the verse number 12 and 12 to let's say 18. From 12 to 18, he expressed very much about the good qualities generating the bodhicitta. So if I make very short remarks, if we are focusing only to us individually, if I focus only on me, then it will generate so many problems, because in this moment I neglect all sentient beings. I don't care about benefit of all other sentient beings, or not even my good friends. But I always focus on me and my own business or my own benefit. I mean business benefit. So therefore, it will not functioning, and because of that, it caused me so much sufferings. I was talking about to open or to close. If I close between me and others, so then there's no space, there's no place in this environment or this boundary to include any others. Without having others, there's no possibility to achieve benefit or happiness, only from myself and for me. Because my benefit, my happiness is totally related by the others. If I really would like to have such a great boundless happiness, I must open toward to others. So if I open, there's no, I don't have any, I don't have to lose. So because of that, I'll be very open, and through this open position, everybody can come to me, and I can come to all these sentient beings or group of people. So we'll be joined together, work together, and experience together, and help to each other. So therefore the communication will be much closer, much will be very free. From 19 till 25 or 26, maybe 26, he explained about the way to receive bodhicitta vow. From 27th, from the 27th till various verses, he explained about again how you, or which way you need to remove all these mental obstacles which are defilements. And he explained it from 33, accumulation of merit and wisdom. So this goes up to the further down to 37. From the 38, he explained about shamatha and a combination of shamatha and vipassana. How far is it important, and the combination with wisdom and method, all this good, all this necessity and good qualities explained in detail. So, however, we need to understand the real need to generate the bodhicitta and how we accumulate merit in order to generate the bodhicitta, and how we increase bodhicitta through the good contacts according to bodhisattvas, and which are the obstacles, and how, and which way we need to overcome all these obstacles. So these are the subject of the last part of lamrim. During the Atisha teaching, Atisha's composed this text in Tibet. He hasn't included, as usual, lamrim texts such as precious human beings, impermanent, and so on. He has not included. So that means at that time, Tibetans doesn't have or don't have a problem without or less thinking about impermanence or whatever, but they have more problem with fighting with defilements. So this, because of that, so he expressed so much about the bodhicitta. And so in order to, maybe that's much. At that time, Tibetans were too much focused on the Tantra practice, and not only interest in Tantra, but also wrong practice, wrong interpretation of Tantra, and misuse of Tantra. So therefore, in order to remove all these wrong perceptions, he emphasized very much about bodhicitta and emptiness, which are very fundamental practice for Tantra practice. So thank you very much. That's for today. And now if you have some questions. Yes, please read.
The question is, often we met good Dharma practitioner, especially in meditation. How do we know from his outlook or from his conversation that he had achieved which level of meditation? And or how do we analyze that in the course of his meditation practice and his daily behaviors that he had realized emptiness?
How do we analyze that in the course of meditation, in the course of his meditation practice, and what's the last mean?
In the course of his meditation.
What's it in the course?
I'm thinking maybe COURSE in the process. In the course, CAUSE. In the course of his meditation and his daily.
In the process.
How do we analyze in his meditation and behavior that he had realized emptiness?
Well, I presume this is, generally speaking, a bit too early to discuss this matter. Maybe it's not very similar, but if I give an example, if you are studying certain subject, right? How do you know whether he or she is past this subject? The answer is, if someone puts questions in that field, such as mathematics, so he or she will be ready to give a correct answer, then he or she is fit this subject. Likewise, if you realize the emptiness, then your view will be totally changed. That means, as I always talking about communication between subject and object. So this is our problem, right? We always need to communicate with objects, but we always have wrong communications method. If I realize really emptiness, so this communication will be impure. Maybe I can also explain briefly. You have very clear mind. You have all sense of feelings, 100% there. That's the condition, precondition. On that basis, if you don't feel, if you don't involve in defilements, whenever you focusing to any object, so that means if you see any good position, good sceneries or whatever, beautiful things or whatever, you never attracted and never arise any attachment, or you never be angry, you never be this other kind of defilements will be arise. So then maybe this will be a good sign to proper understanding. I don't talk about realization, but proper understanding, good understanding of emptiness. I would like to emphasize once again that we must have a clear mind. This is really important. So otherwise, if we some kind of brain damaged or whatever, or we can't feel anything, so then it doesn't mean to a good feeling with emptiness, right? It's a mental defect. Yes, please.
Okay, the next question is, Dear Rinpoche, can we achieve enlightenment without engaging in deity yoga?
If you have time, yes. Okay, next.
Next question is, what is the difference between Wang and Jinang, empowerment and initiation?
Empowerment and initiation, these are English language problem. So what really understand, if you use these two words to an Englishman who don't have Buddhist background, I don't know what they will understand, right? So therefore I don't bother about terminology, English terminology, but only Tibetan terminology. Wang means certain. There's several steps which need to be bestowed in order to put your disciple into the mandala. That means in order to put your disciple in the tantra. So this is the first step, get into tantra. This is certain, so to say, meditative ceremony, which way you put your disciple in the tantra. This is the one. More or less, if we make very simple way, entrance ceremony into the tantra. Jena is a shorter ceremony which you are allowed to give only those persons who are already entered into tantra. Without tantra practitioner, you are not allowed to give full aspect of jhana. But part of this jhana can also be bestowed. I don't want to make you confusion, so therefore we are not discussing today which way and which part of jhana should not to give those people who is not in tantra. Although I don't want to discuss about Brit or English terminology, but still, generally speaking, people using empowerment for Wang and initiation can be used for jhana. But whether it's correct or not, I don't know.
Do we have any more questions?
Thank you.
Can we take the internet as our guru?
No. Clear no. Because internet is not a person. Internet cannot, at least for the time being, cannot transmit it, spiritual power one by one, which we need to give, especially tantric teaching, right? From guru to disciple, from person to person. But actually, you can put better question instead of internet. So if you're talking about, if you ask me about, what about Skype? Right? And how about with the telephone? Through the telephone, whether you are allowed to receive empowerment through telephone or through Skype. So then, I don't know, we need to discuss furthermore. Especially if you're talking about receive or giving initiation or empowerment, one must need to be together in the meditation, right? Simultaneously meditation is necessary. Without having this, although you are sitting together, but only Lama meditated and do all this ceremony, but those people who are there didn't meditate, they wouldn't receive any empowerment.
Okay, the next question is, dearest Rinpoche, I read somewhere that when a guru passes away, they have the ability to choose to be back to this world if it is beneficial to the beings. Where are they if they do not return to this world? This is the first question. The second question is, even if it benefits only a small group of beings, will the guru return? If we make continuous swift return prayers, will it help to meet the guru again soon?
This is quite deep matter. Number one, as I mentioned earlier, regarding the state of Lama's position, right? Just an example, one of my Lama is passed away. Where he will be, that's the question. That's the according to his ability, according to his position. I regard him as real Buddha, just example, right? But whether he has or he had opportunity to lead his future way by himself or not, this is the number one question. If yes, so then he will be anywhere, no problem, no matter. He can be in Pure Land, he can be somewhere else, wherever he feels that he can benefit some others. Or maybe he also can be in the state of Dhammadhatu, which is more or less state of Dhammakaya. It's not necessarily, so to say, come back to somewhere else. So whether he is in the position to do so or not, this is his up to according to his ability. The second question is, as you read already, even if it benefits only a small group of beings, will the Guru return? It is possible. It's possible. Just an example, Atisha said, no, not Atisha. Tara said to Atisha, your visit to Tibet, it's, how should I explain? Very benefit, especially for one person. That means Ramtamba, his main disciple. In that sense, the logical way of thinking is, even the logical way of thinking is, because of Atisha's visit to Tibet, was most benefit for the Atisha. Of course, many others, but mainly benefit for the Domtempa. Because through this, only one person established, or maybe better to say, transmitted Atisha's precious teachings to so many people up to now. We are able to profit, able to have profit from his teaching, right? So this is a great kindness of Domtempa. Of course, Atisha, but Domtempa. So therefore, only one person's benefit, so to say, one benefit for only one person was also need to be taken care. The last part of your question is, if we make continuous substituent prayers, will it help to meet the Guru again soon? It depends on the karmic link. One has a karmic link for the past time, during his lifetime. But what kind of karmic link will be continued with his or her reincarnation? That's the big question. We as a disciple must have such a good fortune, and he also need to be choose and see the benefit, whether he come this way or that way, which will be more benefit. This is his own decision, theoretically. It will be definitely possible from the Buddhist culture point of view that one could find reincarnation. But whether this reincarnation really true reincarnation or not, this is also a big question. Okay, please.
The next question is, from my understanding, Buddhism doesn't preach punishments, or there are no punishments in Buddhism. So why is there hell? And who or what created hell?
Please don't start such a problem to discuss. The hell is just a terminology. What do you understand under the hell? This is a different matter. So to say, Buddha's word explained traditional way of explanation or description of the hell beings. At the same time, mostly in the same text, explained or mentioned all different kinds of lives existed on the level of consciousness. Actually, this is not important. Talking about a very hot, very cold hell beings or whatever. But it's most important thing is that there is a possibility to get immeasurable sufferings, immeasurable happiness, beyond our general understanding. Okay, I think you have one question, right?
The question is that if an ordinary being doesn't have a capacity, to
capacity, okay.
Capacity to tell who is a real qualified teacher, and then if this is the case, is there any other easier way for us to meet a qualified teacher? For example, through requesting to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to grant us, like right views and right understanding, then in order to meet perfect and qualified high lamas to be our rule guru. Can we do in this way? Is that okay? And then the lady's question is that how do we know, if we really purify our negative karma, to purify all of our negativities? 他是问说如何知道静坐这个恶业嘛？
This is a very good question. And as ordinary beings, we need to have more information from others and our own judgment, our own study, right? And according to our limited capacity, we also can make some kind of test. And all this information need to put together, and then we can find some kind of resolution. And on top of that, prayer to the Buddhas and so on, in order to meet proper teacher, of course, this is very, very supportive. So, her question?
How do we know if we really purify our negative karma or negativities?
How do we know?
Yeah.
Our pure?
We have already purified all of our negativities.
How do we know that we have already purified our negative karma?
If we purified 100% negative karmas, we wouldn't experience that's the result. So that means that's more or less, how should I say? As long as that we are in samsara, that means as long as we not reached arhat, unfortunately, we will not be able to remove 100% all the obstacles, or better to say, defilements. So that means you will understand without any problem whether you achieve this pure condition or not, because you achieve emptiness and you achieve all other mental obstacles. I hope you don't mind that we took much more time as planned. Sorry about that. So now we can do dedication.